request today, we're going to be reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid Fregpocalypse. Now, I'm assuming this is kind of like a zombie apocalypse book, and that's pretty much all I know about it. But yeah, if you guys want me to read something, just like leave it in the comments. I'll 100% read it unless it like goes directly against TOS, like if it's pornographic to an extent, because obviously I've read like some pretty bad ones. But yeah, anyway. I just woke up, so my voice might sound weird, and yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Fregpocalypse, Part 1. It started like any other day. Rowley and I were busy playing our favorite video game, Garfield's Card, before this whole incident. I know this journal will become famous if we all survive this, so I'll try to catch you up to speed before I tell you about the trouble we're all in now. So as I was saying, it was a perfectly normal day. After school, I went over to Rowley's house to play video games with him. We played the whole day, but Rowley's parents never came home from work. This never happens. Since it was getting late, I decided to head home while Rowley waited for his parents. On the way back, I saw Fregpocalypse, and he asked me if I wanted to see his little buddy. He's also shaking while he said this, but it's cold out, so he was probably shivering from it. After that weird Fregpocalypse encounter, I started to walk back home. Wanna see my little buddy? No thanks. When I arrived back home, the house was unusually quiet. I walked into the kitchen. I saw a note on the refrigerator. Went to get groceries. Be home soon, Mom. I have no clue why my family would be getting groceries this late at night, but I don't really care. I went to my room to play some video games. Before I could get upstairs, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, Fregpocalypse was there. Hello, friend. Before Fregpocalypse could do anything, I shut the door on him. Usually that makes him go away. This time he kept staring through the window. This is some weird stuff for even Fregpocalypse to do. I started to step away from the window, but then Rowley called me and he sounded worried. Rowley said that Fregpocalypse was all over the news for an emergency alert from the government. Then he told me that the alert said don't go outside, don't get caught in the dark, and don't interact with anybody that looks like Fregpocalypse. I asked him what he meant by anyone that looks like Fregpocalypse, because Fregpocalypse was still outside my window staring at me. Rowley started to respond. My phone service went out in the middle of a sentence. I backed away from Fregpocalypse and tried to turn off the TV to see the alert, but all I got was static. I hope this isn't the start of a Fregpocalypse. He said it, that's the name of the book, oh my god. When I backed away from the door, Fregpocalypse went completely crazy. I ran as fast as I could to the upstairs bathroom and I hid in the laundry basket. I heard Fregpocalypse clawing at the window, and I wondered if it could hold long. After some consideration, I realized I would be dead if Fregpocalypse got a hold of me in a laundry basket. I decided to go to my room and lock the door and pray. I heard the sound of glass breaking downstairs, followed by a blood-retching scream. From the confines of my room, I heard Fregpocalypse crawl up the stairs. I then heard a wet thud, and realized it was Fregpocalypse's body slamming himself into the door. I had to be honest, that sound was scary. The door started to break, and cracks were starting to form. A minute later, the door broke down. Fregpocalypse started to run towards me, but before it could reach me, I heard a loud bang, and I saw bullet holes cover Fregpocalypse. I woke up in my bed, and I hoped that what happened was a bad dream. When my eyes started to clear, I saw my brother Rodrick watching over me. After I had composed myself, he said, "You sure you got lucky back there, Greg?" I nodded, and asked him where our family was. He said it was complicated and that he couldn't explain. I never thought I'd say this, but I think Rodrick saved my life back there. Thanks. Rodrick told me that Fregpocalypse started to attack. He called his friends and told them this was the day they were waiting for. Using their zombie first-person shooter skills, most of them established safe zones for the community. However, Rodrick's group wasn't able to save people in the corners of town, and include the grocery store. Dad, Mom, and Manny were at, and Rowley. I said we had to go save them, and Rodrick said he agreed. This is like the moment all boys would be waiting for, like this and school shootings. I don't know if I could say that, but I don't care. After quickly devising a plan to save Rowley, Rodrick and I packed up what we needed to save him. I grabbed Dad's gun, okay, and that's kind of a casual way to slip that in. So they have a gun. I mean, they are in America and they do have the right for that, but I don't know. That makes sense. I'd see Frank have a gun. And Rodrick got more shells for his shotgun. After everything was packed, we heard a high-pitched screech come from within the house. Rodrick told me to be quiet because it was one of the Fregpocalypse coming to get us. I can smell you, Gregory. Manny Interlude 1. Bubby gone now. Bubby mean. Daddy and Mummy are gone. Wish they were here. Only yucky veggies here. Scary four-eyed kids scare me at night. So scary I hide from them and shelf. I am too tiny to find. Miss Mommy, miss her hugs. Saw her one night in dream. Nightmare, four-eyed kids everywhere. Daddy fought them, couldn't save Mommy. I think it was only dream in head. Need to find something other than yucky veggie to eat. Hungry. Frank interlude. I failed. She's gone. I can't redo what is done. Manny's gone too. Lost him when I went to save Susan. All the war strategies I learned from my interest in combat and scale models didn't help me in this scenario, as weird as this. At least I helped Rodrick escape. I know Greg and him are safe. They're both resourceful kids. They'll carry on the torch I gave to them. Can't let the same fate that happened to Susan happen to me. The boys will be horrified. Everything I do is for my family. There isn't much family left for me. Signing off, Frank Heffley. Back to normal story. Bang! My knees, Gregory. A few seconds after we heard Fragley, there was a loud bang. Rodrick then told me he had set up booby traps in the house while I was resting. Thank God for that. We should probably go finish off the Fragley. We have a tight schedule to uphold if we want to save Rowley before dark. Crash. Ouch. Rodrick's still an awful driver, even in an apocalypse. I wish we could use our bikes, but we still have too much equipment. But it would be also super dangerous, and we obviously don't want to turn into one of them. He also insists on playing low diver because it scares the Fragleys. I don't blame them. Anyway, we're almost at our destination, Rowley's house. Imagine, the last thing you see as before dying is a white van with the word loaded diaper painted on you, and you just get hit, and you just hear, loaded diaper music. That'd be a way to die. I wouldn't mind. On our way to Rowley's, we encountered someone who must have been bitten by a Fragley. He was turning into one. Rodrick offered to put him down before he fully transformed, and he accepted our offer. I couldn't bring myself to shoot him. I hesitated, and then he went full Fragley and attacked. Damn it, Greg, Rowley said as he pulled the trigger on a shotgun. I can't watch your back forever. When we got to Rowley's house, we were greeted by the most unpleasant surprise ever. Giant mutated Fragley, Mr. Jefferson, stood guard in front of Rowley's house. But we got ready. There was no way to defeat this giant thing, but we got ready for battle anyway. Before this giant monster approached, Rodrick told me to go save Rowley while he defended me from Mr. Jefferson. I told him he was crazy, and he proceeded to shove me towards the house while he ran towards Mr. Jefferson. I guess I should go save Rowley before Rodrick's dead meat. When I jumped through Rowley's window, I saw him napping on his couch. Around his couch was a pile of severed Fragley heads. I shook him softly, and he shot up and pulled out a knife. Get away, you monster, he half-mothered under his breath. He immediately calmed down when he saw me. He sure did look drained of energy, though. Those Fragleys must have tired him out. Anyway, he went back outside to find Rodrick. Guess the Fragley said, "Ziwi mama." Shut up, Greg, I'm too tired for this. Rowley and I went outside and saw the corpse of Mr. Jefferson laying on the ground. I saw Rodrick face down in the dirt next to it. When I got close to him, he popped up and punched me on the shoulder. He laughed and told me he was happy to see me and Rowley safe. While he said this, I noticed a small mark on his arm, covered by a sleeve. Before I could ask him about it, Rowley said we were going on a road trip to his buddy Bill Walter's outpost. I think Rodrick got bit. Morning, Mr. Heffley. We made it to Bill's outpost within the hour. Bill and Rodrick were happy to see each other. Bill looked a little worried. I think he saw the mark on Rodrick too. Bill told us that he and the survivors were already prepping for the dark of the night. Since the Fragleys get a little feisty in the dark, Rodrick told me and Rowley to have fun while we can, as long as we didn't venture outside the outpost's walls. One night, Fragleys began appearing at the wall of the outpost. They started scratching at the wall, shaving shreds of the wood off. Rodrick said that performing loaded diaper loudly was the only way to scare them off, so he got ready to rock. Who's ready to rock? I am. And then words just standing security. The band started to play as loud as possible, and it made the Fragleys cover their ears and start screeching. Everything was going perfect, but before the band could reach the final note, Rodrick collapsed in the seat. With perfect harmony broken, the Fragleys were free to attack. Out of the trees came flocks of mutant flying Fragleys. They descended upon us and flew with some of our members, including Bill. One kid even tried to skewer one with an iron pole, but our efforts were fruitless in stopping the attack. After some of the Fragleys lifted people in the air, Rowley and I went to the stage and dragged Rodrick to a safe place. He was breathing heavily and his arm looked pretty nasty. Everyone around us was getting killed by the Fragleys. Rowley threw a knife laying on the ground at one, but it barely made a dent in its thick hide. Some others tried to group with us, but Fragley's got them before they could make it. It was a miracle we were surviving. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out to us. What the person had to say saved our lives, and Rodrick. Preston Mudd interlude. I love P. Mudd. My name is Preston Mudd. Ever since the meteor hit, life has been... Okay, the page is cut off weird, but life has turned upside down. I kept seeing that weird Fragley kid everywhere. They started attacking me. I followed one, but it's home, and there were tons of them. I burnt it down, and now they're after me. I hear breathing behind me. P. Mudd wanted for prison. Manny interlude 2. I found a yummy hot dog today, better than yucky veggie. Why is the page cut off so weird? Loud music last night kept me up, tired, lots of screaming. I missed Bubby. He put mustard on my hot dog, wrong, but still yummy. But mustard wrong to remind me of him. Sad, I cried loud. 4-eyed kids look weird or scary, got close to finding me. I'm very sneaky. I found Mommy, she didn't recognize me, screamed, saw Daddy too, but he no see me. Miss Bobby, he would see me, but go, scream loud, sneaky, man, you sneaky, never caught, but hungry still. Shrog interlude. Oh, Shrog's the go. Transpict from researcher, Shrog's audio journal. I think this is the 6th Sense impact. I lost count somewhere in my employer, and I have been working around the clock to find a cure for this mess. Thankfully, we were able to interact with the meteor before it all started. Using a chunk of its metallic surface, we are able to distill a cure. After animal and human testing, we concluded it to have 95% effectiveness. However, they evolved quickly. The cure only has a 5% effectiveness now. I don't know if that's how it works, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy my Indian accent. And after only hold off the infection for a few days at most, my employer and I are perplexed by the new mutants. They break all the law of nature as we know. They were always not working as a hive mind. Now every individual subject has its own mind. Also, I'm not racist. That's how he talks in the movies. You could go watch them. Anyway, on to part 2. Part 2. The voice was no other than Chirag Gupta's, my classmate. I've been researching a cure with my associate. I'd like Rodrick to drink this, he said reassuringly. We didn't really have other options than to save Rodrick. So we decided to trust Chirag. Now we must hurry. The cure will only hold off the infection for a few days, and we have to get to my boss. Rodrick started to argue with Shrog, saying we had all to go save our family. This escalated pretty quickly. Shrog pulled out a pistol. You're coming with me, Heffley. It does not matter if you're alive or not, Shrog said, and the barrier behind us shattered. Splinters from the... I'm glad Rodrick's alive. That's nice. And looks like Rowley's gonna die. Splinters from the barrier peppered our faces. There was nothing in the hole that we could see. We soon learned that it was a Fragley. We heard his familiar screech, and everything went absolutely crazy. Cuts instantly appeared on Shrug, making him drop his pistol. Rowley grabbed and shot blindly at our invisible foe. He then got cut up and launched into the air. Rodrick clambered a shell into his shotgun and tried desperately to get a beat on our enemy. He ended up firing in front of him, and he hit the Fragley. His invisibility deactivated, letting us get a good look at our foe. Rowley was nowhere in sight, and Shrug's corpse was on the pavement. Apparently, I didn't know how to beg a body, and I don't want to know how Rodrick does the right way. We begged Shrug to give him a respectable goodbye, since we didn't have time to bury him. He was a good kid, and we have to get him move on. We're starting to attract Fragley, so we need to stay alive. I love how these always use the Diary of a Wimpy Kid things out of context. This one originally just bagging leaves for the grandma, but now they're bagging bodies, and Roderick's like, no. That's great. Anyway, moving on. And I'm sad I don't get to do an Indian accent. I'm sad Chirag's gone. Rodrick for once had a good idea. He said that if we met Chirag's employer, we'd use the cure to save our family at the grocery store. Couldn't argue with that, but I asked him who it could be. Rodrick said the answer was clear. It was Patty Farrell, I'm calling it. But anyway, I'd lost my spot. Anyway, that didn't really answer my question, but Rodrick's the one with the van. As we drove towards our destination, I asked him how he could manage killing all those Franklies and burying people. Well, Greg, I have to be honest with you. It isn't easy, but I have to save my family, especially my little bro. He responded. I guess this apocalypse really brought out the best of him. Rodrick announced that we had made it to our destination, Fragley's house. Chunks of meteor peppered his lawn in the back of his house. All the lights were dim, and I could hear a hushed voice inside. I wondered where all the Fraglies were. I noticed the battle going on nearby. Kids I knew were being overwhelmed by more Fraglies than we had ever seen before. I think I recognized some of the bodies of the Fraglies, but their faces made it impossible to recognize them. All their bodies turned towards us and the house. Shadows started to run towards us, abandoning the few survivors of the battle. Since Fraglies were approaching, I decided to get the attention of whoever was inside the most advanced way possible, throwing rocks at the window. Have you lost your mind, Greg? Rodrick said as he rang the doorbell. We're running out of time. I said that the door opened up to let us in, just in time. Oh, right, Alex Aruda. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, and Fru's the goat. I love Fru. When we got inside, we saw Fru, Alex Aruda, and a Fragley staring at us. This Fragley wasn't acting aggressive, so I assumed it was the original one. Greetings, friends, Alex said. You've come a long way to get here, Fragley interrupted him. There's no time to waste. We have to activate all of our fail-safes while they're here, or the whole world is in grave danger. Fru then pressed the button on the wall, and a metallic clanking filled the room. Saw iron walls rise up against the sides of Fragley's house as the Fragleys reached us. They slammed against the iron reinforcements. I should buy some time, Alex said. Ross asked them if they had any idea how this all started, and Fragley nodded. Before they could continue, Rowley peeked out from behind a door. Oh yes, we found Rowley earlier and nursed him back to health, Alex said. Rowley smiled and he said he was glad to see us all here. As I was saying, Fragley said, we don't have much options here. We have a room dedicated to making a cure, but I don't know if we have enough time. Alex also made a bunch of nuclear bombs so that we could just launch to decimate the Fragleys off the Earth, but it could kill us in the process. For some reason, Rowley suggested nuking Russia instead, but is he taking a lot of heads? Can we just nuke Russia instead? I don't think so. After we got Rowley to shut up, Fragley began to explain how this all started. When the meteor crashed nearby my house, I heard my own voice come within it. I went to investigate, but the meteor was scrapped open and empty. When I got home, I saw my mom being attacked by a clone of myself. It must have been awful for her to be attacked by what was her own son. She turned into another version of me, and then the two Fragleys split up and entered other houses, come up with more. I felt powerless to stop it, so I called Alex and Fru to help me develop a solution. Before Fragley could say anything else, our defenses broke. I am scared. The four-eyed kids must have been angry. Oh, Mary and Shalita. I said Manny and Shalita. I wasn't paying attention. I am scared. The four-eyed kids have been very angry. Very angry. I saw Mommy and Daddy. No, Bubby. Miss Bubby. Daddy can see me now. He screams too like Mommy. Makes Manny sad. Very sad. No fun in being sneaky. Not careful. Cry more and more. Too hungry. Cry near four-eyed kids to tease him. They all scream. Bubby doesn't scream. He no hear. I see Mommy more and more, but not her. Too close to Daddy and four-eyed kid. Scary, but Manny no care anymore. He miss her hugs too much. Called for Mommy. She and Daddy came, gave her a big hug, and fell asleep. Ending 1. Gamma. Fragleys burst through the wall, and Rodrick raised a shotgun and fired into the horde. Get to the nukes, Greg. Go hold them off. He yelled, and I saw just looking at the illustration. Anyway, I saw Alex and Fru get covered in a mass of Fragleys. Their screams echoed in the room. Snapped back to my senses and ran to the hall. I burst into the room with a radiation warning on it. Pain screams of my friend didn't stop coming. I saw the big red button that activated the nukes. A Fragley clawed at the door. I needed to hurry. There was nothing left for me to lose, so I slammed the button, let out a sigh of relief as the nuclear fire engulfed us all. That was ending 1. Ending 2. Iota. We ran into the room labeled Cure. Alex barricaded the door behind us. Get in this machine, Rodrick, Fru said. Rodrick helped in. The machine whirred out and spit out a vial. Alex took the vial, opened the door, threw the vial into the massive Fragleys. They started to change back into humans, but only halfway. It didn't work, Alex screamed there. Rodrick said he felt queasy, and rested on the cot. Rodrick's body was put under too much stress, Fru said. We all panicked. This is the end. Our best fighter was down, and we were out of weapons. Rowley and I stood over Rodrick as we accepted our fate. Ending 3. Beta. We were able to rush to a nearby room before the Fragleys reached us. Rodrick slammed the door behind us and kept watching through the peephole. There's too many of them to fight, he said. There was another door in this room, and it led to the nukes. Greg, you have to launch nukes while we defend you, Rodrick said. Hope I was a good brother to you, he said as he pushed me towards the nuke room. Don't let me down. I ran towards the nukes as he opened the door. Isn't it? Like, wasn't that the same as the first ending, except slightly different? Ending 4. Pi. Albert sadly finished describing the gruesome events that happened next as the lunch table shuddered. And that's why we haven't seen Greg or Rowley or Ragley recently. The whole government must have wiped their minds so we weren't suspicious. Luckily, I sleep with a tinfoil hat on, so I had my memory intact, Albert finally said. The bell rang and the Rudgely cleared out. He had another dark corner, hidden under a dark counter. A lone arm twitched. Okay, I like that ending. That's like one of a good ending. Ending 5, Alpha. The Fragleys burst through the door with unimaginable power. Rowley and Rodrick fired a few shots into the mass, but there were too many of them. Rowley got a nasty hole bitten into his stomach, and a Fragley jumped on me. Before it could reach me, Rodrick grabbed him out of the air and wrestled him. "Help me, Greg," Rodrick grunted as I stood there transfixed. The Fragley was too much for him, and he crumpled to the ground. A red mist filled the air as Fragley pounced on Rodrick and Rowley. Frew and Alex were nowhere to be seen, so I assumed they were dead. As I snapped back to reality, a sheet of red went over my lives. For once in my life, I couldn't be a wimp. Okay, that was interesting. Ending 6, yeah. Not good at Roman numerals. Door broke, and a tsunami of Fragleys poured out. They all lunged at us. Rodrick jumped into the crowd as a shock, and Rowley got a dagger out and started to attack. Rowley got tackled by a Fragley and snarled at him before biting him. Rowley seized up, and I saw his face contort into a Fragley mask. As Fragley snuck up behind me, but I leaned away from its gaping maw before it could bite me. Rodrick was still going strong. The Fragley caught me by surprise and bit me. I decided to throw my diary at Rodrick. Perhaps he could finish our story. Okay. Ending 7. Omicron. When the Fragleys burst through the fences, Rowley and I looked at each other with the same fearful look. We understood each other wordlessly, and I started to run from the fight. "Where are you guys going?" Rodrick shouted. Fragley said, "Let them run," and he put his hands on Rodrick's shoulder. Rowley and I went to a bathroom and secured ourselves inside. Couldn't really hear what was happening, but there was a surprisingly low amount of screams. We decided to go have a look. Ending 8, Omega. Ending 7, Omega. This is the last one, I believe. We rushed to the room labeled Cure. Rowley stayed behind to defend us against the Fragleys. Fru and Alex immediately took charge and got a blood sample from Rodrick. They then put the blood into a dead frog, which they said could act as a vessel. When I mixed the blood into the frogs, the air around us got super weird. Everyone's heads looked funny and started to get. Rodrick said something about this being just like pills. Whatever, oh my god, this guy got high. "They're ready," Alex said. He placed the frog on the table and told us to open the door. We did, and threw the frog into the room with Rowley and the Fragleys. Okay, I guess they live in that one. Probably, I don't know. Anyway, that was a good ending. Doesn't give away too much. I really like the Albert Sandy ending. That's like a kind of like, and then they woke up ending. But yeah, I still liked it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really long, so please like and subscribe. And again, leave me fan fictions to read, because I'll always read like whatever you guys comment. I don't know. It doesn't take anything out of me. So yeah. Anyway, like and subscribe. It's like 30 minutes long or something, so I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm out of here. Bye.